Once you understand this activity of the self-contraction, once you are sensitive to it, and you are prepared to counter this self-contraction by devoting your attention and your feeling to the divine person, in my case, Adidar Samraj, and his teaching, then life becomes an adventure. No, that's not the right word. Life becomes a complete life. It's so complete. Right now it is complete. There's nowhere to go. You simply act and talk and walk and function here, wherever here is. You see that things need doing, housework, cleaning, watering the plants, maybe earning some money. This is it. Where else is there to go? When there's no self-contraction, there is simply intimacy, joy, delight, no matter what's arising. You operate accordingly. There's no fuss, there's no dilemma. This counter-egoic activity of turning away from this to that for me, represented by my devotion to the Master, to the divine person, in my case Adidar Samraj. It's an ancient tradition, devotion to the Master. The self-contraction has been operative for thousands of years. But very few people understand this activity, this internal activity that is the ruination of that which thousands of people are seeking for. You know what it's like when you've lost something. So you've lost something and where is it? I'm sure it's in here. I'm sure I saw it in here a moment ago. I know it was in here yesterday. No, it was here. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Well, there's none of that rummaging for what you've lost. You simply turn away from the results of the self-contraction. You turn away and you give your attention to that which you have understood to be the open hand disposition, the sun beyond the clouds. And in that turning, the ego is no longer. And all there's left is what it already is. It's like the dirty windscreen or dirty window. You just simply clean it off. and there's the window. People needlessly get their property decorated when all it requires is a good clean. Sometimes. So what's beyond? What's beyond this familiarity, this annoyance, this irritability? What's beyond it? This doubting and this fear and this anxiety? The self-contraction. It's what is at the root. No self-contraction, then what is, with a capital I, is obvious. This activity of self-contraction creates a dream state, an illusion. It seems real, of course it seems real. When I pinch myself, it seems very real. But once I no longer pinch myself, what is real with a capital R is obvious. So it's taking responsibility. So there's no more blaming. It's you that caused me to be irritated. It's you that's caused this frustration in me. It's you that's caused me all that suffering. It's due to my parents. It's due to my teachers. It's due to my siblings. It's happening right now. Millions of people right now are blaming. Are you? How come you're listening to this video? Am I having an effect on you? Or is it your self-contraction? By the way, I still contract. It doesn't go away. It goes away in the moment, but then another circumstance will arise and that might, I contract over it or something. Old habits, old tendencies, they all vanish in this devotion. But that doesn't mean they're going to return. You see their ugly heads and you say, no, I'm not going there. I'm going here. Return. Keep returning to that which works. And this works for me. And it will work for you. It works for everybody because it's counter-devotion, it's counter-egoic. It's going away from ego. What's arising right now? We've got sounds and smells, and then what one sees. This open hand disposition simply allows. It cannot do anything other than to allow. So the spoon and the glass, these vessels can pick up thousands of different contents. But they have to be directed. So we're in charge. We are in charge of our attention. Attention is free to wander here, there, and everywhere. And then life becomes so much more simple. No complication. Look at this lovely plant, which I bought the other day. I think it's a lovely leaf. So when you're in this disposition, which is our true state, we can enjoy. We can be intimate with whatever is arising right now. An intimacy that you didn't know was possible. You're not seeking intimacy anymore because you are intimacy. There's no separation, you see. To function is what the body-mind is required to do. And it's what the body-mind expects to do. So, what's going to come my way today? I do Airbnb and my guests, all different, of course. One guest just left, just now, and she had about 8 cups of coffee. She was a delight to have around, absolute delight. Well, I saw it as a delight. Other people might see it as an annoyance. But this was embracing her. What's stopping me from picking up all of this and throwing it up in the air? There's that you are. This is not necessary to do. What can I use? What's stopping me from putting this pen up my nose? You know, it's the play of conditions. Play of conditions. Now, how many times can this piece of paper be folded? One. 2. Before I can't do any more. 3. 4. 5. 5 really. Everything's enjoyed. This disposition is already enjoyment. This disposition is already intimacy. This disposition is already love. This disposition is already in relationship. This disposition is gracefully given. See, my eyes aren't the divine person all the time, but I am blessed. I am blessed. Adidor was the mouthpiece that was necessary for me. Maybe I'm the mouthpiece that's necessary for you. How complicated is your life? How much more money do you need to earn? How many more failed relationships do you want? How much more annoyance do you need, and irritability and frustration do you need before you will start to turn away from it and redirect your feeling attention? Consider the word satsang, divine communion. I came across Adidar 35 years ago. It's not something that's it's new to me. This practice, this body-mind's been practicing, I could say on and off, I think more on than off. I had a spell where I sold many of his books and didn't want to know him anymore. And he teaches us he shows us the childish and adolescent ways that we have still within our body minds, even though we may be in our 30s, 40s, 80s, whatever age. We're still dramatizing patternings and tendencies that we created as children. Nothing to do with genes. It's to do with the self-contraction. It really is. It's not necessary. I'm looking forward, not from the egoic point of view, not to something to make me happy, but I'm looking forward to having a group of people here and I can talk and share. Once again, once you're there, there's nowhere to go. So the body-mind travels, the feet walk, of course, the feet takes the body-mind to this place and to this place. But because you're in that stable disposition, you, with a capital Y, your reality with a capital R, hasn't changed. There's nothing that can disturb this disposition other than the self-contraction. Nothing. This disposition, consciousness with capital C, was never born and will never die. It's always here. It's always reachable. It's always accessible. It's waiting there to be accessed. But always there's something we have to do. If we want something, we want a glass of water, you've got to find the glass, you've got to put it under the tap, you've got to turn the tap on. Always something to do. If you want to see something on television, you pick up the remote control, switch it on. If it's not working, then you've got to go and sort it out. There's always something to do. And if you wish to be enlightened, if you wish to live in this disposition, then you need to do something. And that is to change, not your act, just change where you put your attention, your feeling attention. And start doing that for a minute or two, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Gradually over time, you're giving your feeling attention to that which has become your lover. He's my lover. He's my great friend. He's not my enemy. Though if he was alive, he would often say, kick ass. He would disturb your complacency, your rigidity, your going into your own self and avoiding everybody. To the open hand disposition, there's no avoidance in that. Self-contracted disposition, we avoid. We don't want to know you. The enlightened disposition is paramount. The true devotee takes this disposition seriously. No longer giving this disposition seriousness. Not giving it credence. Not giving it the attention that it wishes to have. And then it falls away. The less attention you give to your self-contraction, and the more you give here, you'll see that this replaces this. This replaces this. Do you understand? So go and practice. Make your life a life of devotion. No matter what, absolutely no matter what. No matter how many aches and pains you might have, no matter what. no matter what illnesses your body and mind has, this disposition is accessible. But first of all, you've got to link up, commune first, and then, depending on grace, that's what people don't want to rely on, I suppose, you will be transformed. It's a love relationship. It's not a 5-minute wonder. It's not being stimulated and excited. It's ongoing. It's one's stability. It's continuous. Peter in the Bible was tested. There he was, thoroughly enjoying the company of Jesus and 10 or 11 other disciples. There they were, thoroughly enjoying themselves. The Last Supper, as it was called. Jesus and his friends. Jesus was the lover. Jesus was the means. We love you, Lord. We love you, Master. You won't deny me, will you, Peter? No, I won't deny you, Lord. I'll never deny you, Lord. You sure you won't deny me? Absolutely, Lord. I will never deny you. I love you. I love you more than my wife. I love you more than my children. I love you more than me. Peter, I say to you that you will deny me. No, Lord, I won't. Before the cock crows 3 times, you'll deny me. But Lord, I love you. Why would I want to deny you? Well, we shall see. And I tell you, you will deny me on the way home to your family, to your wife, out of this wonderful occasion we've had together. You will deny me. And what happens? Peter denies him. He's asked, do you know this man? No. I don't think the centurion would have presented a picture of that Jesus. But do you know this man that they call Christ? No. Are you sure? Yes, absolutely sure. Okay. On you go. So, Peter denied Jesus. Self-contraction took place. He was fearful. He wanted to be accepted by society more than his love for Jesus. His love for Jesus was not apparent at that moment. Maybe he needed the physical form of Jesus, because it is a spiritual relationship that I have had with Alidar. Anyway, someone else denied Jesus. Judas. It was Judas who betrayed Jesus. That's the man. Him. There. He's the king of the Jews. He's the one that's causing uproar. He's the one that's upsetting the apple cart. Him there. And that's when Jesus was arrested. See, what I have to offer, it's not acceptable in society, because society is dependent upon the self-contraction. Doctors, just as doctors want you to be ill, they are dependent upon illness. Judges are dependent on criminals. Teachers are dependent on students, and all the emotional baggage that goes with it. adverts. People who create adverts and all the products are dependent upon you being drawn in, enticed. Well, I'm dependent on satsang. For this body-mind, just as the body-mind is dependent on food and nutrients and well-being, the body-mind is also dependent, if it's going to live like this, dependent on a radical change of destiny with one's feeling attention. Are you understanding? Hope you listened right through to the end. The YouTube statistics often indicate that people only listen for a minute or two. I'm just an ordinary person. This disposition is simply ordinary and natural and human. So human, without any of the extra ridiculousness added to. Being normal. There's no trying to be normal. So long may this disposition last. What will test me in an hour's time, 10 minutes' time? Will I have more tests like Peter did? Peter failed Jesus, but he failed himself. He didn't have Jesus with him. This is why it's important that I take pictures while you are with me. It's a reminder of my loved one. Because the world is a distraction. But there's a strong counter-egoic movement in me. This muscle, the muscle of contraction, is more and more open. Thank you for listening. Blessings.